whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Will you state your name for the record?
My name is Abesis, Abeis, last name Ramirez, Ramirez.
And how are you employed?
I am a staff operations specialist / tactical specialist with the Federal Bureau of Investigations, and I'm assigned to the office here in Athens.
And how long have you been employed by the FBI?
I have been with the FBI since June of 2019.
And what do your duties include?
My duties include providing analytical assistance to drive cases forward for FBI and law enforcement partners.
What does that mean for those of us who don't work in that field?
That can mean anything from maybe listening to jail calls. If they have some people that they're looking into for a case, I'm able to try to find as much information that I can on those individuals so that the agents can make decisions on how to proceed forward.
And do you have any special training?
Yes, I attended a 6-week training in FBI Quantico.
And do part of your duties include translating jail calls or any other content
Yes.
for the FBI? Can you tell us about that process?
So since I speak Spanish, I requested to be tested for reading and listening through the language and assessment unit at headquarters. Once I take my tests, they score and they will deem whether you're proficient or not, and I received my scores and I was marked as proficient.
Okay. And are you a native speaker?
Yes, I am.
Where are you from, or where's your family from?
My dad's from the Dominican Republic and my mom's from Costa Rica.
And do you speak Spanish regularly?
Yes, I do.
And do you understand different dialects of Spanish?
Yes, I do.
And what does your proficiency rating allow you to do for the FBI?
My proficiency rating allows me to monitor Title IIIs, review jail calls. I can also review like phones or any documents and provide translations for those.
Okay, what is a Title III?
Title III is when like a wiretap on a phone.
Okay. And I understand that you were assigned to work on the case involving State of Georgia versus Jose Ibarra?
Yes, I was.
And what were your duties? What were you assigned to do in this case?
I was assigned to monitor his jail calls and then provide any assistance translating anything that was in Spanish as needed.
Did you, by any chance, were you called upon to translate some videos made by the defendant on February 22nd? Early
Yes.
morning hours of February 22nd.
Yes, I was.
And for whom did you do those translations?
I did those translations for Special Agent Jamie Hipkiss.
And, Your Honor, if I may play the videos.
Give me just a moment. Position that Ms. Franco's side of the conversation is being offered for the truth of the matter?
Our position is that the side of the conversation is offered to provide the fact finder with the context and setup of the conversation. Because if you were just listening to the words of one person as part of a conversation, it would be difficult to have an understanding of what that person's intent was.
So your answer is no, it's not being offered for the truth?
That's correct, Your Honor. Yes,
I'm not
and my
trying
answer is no.
I'm not trying to lead you. I'm
No,
just
the
trying
answer
to
is no,
figure
Your
out
Honor.
the answer to my question.
The answer is no. It's being, like I said in my argument, it's being provided for the purpose of showing the context of the conversation.
Okay, and I thought that's what you said the first time. I saw you standing up. I'll hear from you.
Judge, I think inherent in that would be a requirement of the fact finder to believe that what one side of the conversation is saying is true in order to put any meaning on the other side of the conversation. The whole point of understanding it is that you have to believe that both sides are true or neither side's true unless we were able to confront the witness that was making those statements.
So typically, this is where it becomes interesting with me being the trier of fact, because as we know, typically I would be listening to the motion in limine and hearing the recording outside the presence of a jury and making a decision. But as we sit here at this point, I haven't heard it. So here's the way we're going to proceed. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to hear it, and then I'll consider whether or not I'm going to consider it. I think that's all I can do.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
Right now, we will go forward and play the slides from Agent Kiss's presentation that were translated by Specialist Ramirez. Okay, let's start first with slide 22. There is Spanish on the, can you see the slide?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and what do those words say?
It's saying one time, Ozuna said.
Excuse me, Judge. Just for clarification purposes for Ms. Beck's previous witness, I believe that she had made a relevancy objection to those lyrics being intended to prove anything as it resulted, or as it happened in this case, or any material fact in this case. And so I don't know if we had gotten a ruling on that relevancy objection before she went to there.
We did. I did rule on that. Go back and see. I indicate that I did, but I am finding it relevant for denying the objection based on relevance.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Okay, let's go to slide 20. And the translation.
Yes, that is accurate.
And can you read the translation for the court?
Yes. It says, they want to see me fail, but I won't let them. My heart is that of a warrior. That's how the game rules are, and whoever breaks them will pay.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, did you translate this one as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what does this, how did you translate that music?
It says, I need motivation, not wanting to win. And if one day I lost my fear of losing, it hurts to have run, not to arrive. Now I know that the journey is also the goal. I've grown fears that I never educated, and I know the answers for not asking.
Okay, thank you. Is that the last one? Okay.
This one says, I started, gave it all, fought, I trusted, but in love I didn't do so well. I kept going, I tried, I fell, I got up.
Thank you. So now let's talk about you monitoring jail calls. You mentioned that that is part of your duties and that you were assigned to do that as part of this case.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you start monitoring jail calls?
I started monitoring Jose's calls March of 2024.
Okay. And then how do you get access to the jail call system?
I was provided a login, a username and password from an administrative officer with the Clark County Sheriff's Office.
And what system is used to monitor and record jail calls by the Clark County Sheriff's Department?
Securus.
Okay. And essentially, how does it work?
So normally I would log on to Securus. I am able to search for someone who's incarcerated at the jail by name or their ID. I'm also able to search by numbers that are dialed, and this helps me narrow down the calls that I'm listening to.
So how would someone from who is incarcerated in the Clark County Jail, how would they go about making a jail call? How does the system work on that end?
They normally would use the wall phone, or they can use their tablet.
And then what would they do to log into?
I've never had to make a call, so I'm not sure.
Are they able to call specific numbers?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And do you know whether or not most inmates have access to the jail call, Securus jail call system?
Yes, they do.
Okay. And once you get your ID, you log into the system, what happens next?
For me,
Yes. You log into the system, and then what do you do next?
I will go to communications. I can search an inmate's name. Usually if there's someone incarcerated, I usually search by last name. So if there is someone else that is incarcerated with the same last name, I will search by the inmate's associated PIN number. That way I can just focus on their calls.
How do you ensure that the inmate number being used is the person that you think you're monitoring?
In the system, each number is assigned a name, so I'm able to see the inmate's name as well as their PIN number.
Is it ever possible for inmates to allow other inmates to use their PIN number or their calls?
Yes, I have seen that before.
And in that instance, how do you verify that you're listening to the right calls from the right person?
So, for example, in his case, if someone is talking in English, then that is a good projection that it's not him. I'm also able to see the numbers that are being dialed, and those numbers are not numbers that he dials on a regular basis.
And in this case, were you able to identify certain callers by their phone numbers?
Yes, I am.
Who were you able to identify?
I was
in his
able
jail
to
calls?
identify Laken Franco.
Okay, and what phone number did she use?
I cannot recall the phone number off the top of my head.
And approximately how many jail calls have you listened to in this case?
I have reviewed approximately 2,000, and I have listened to approximately 400, due to most of them being marked no content.
And who were the talkers or the speakers on the majority of these jail calls?
Jose and Laken.
And did you get to be familiar with their voices?
Yes,
after
I did.
listening to 400 calls? And then how did you classify the calls once you listened to them?
So anytime I would listen to a call, I would either mark it as pertinent, non-pertinent, or no content.
And did you isolate some pertinent calls for this case?
Yes, I did.
And was one of those calls, let's get a little happy on the computer here, made on May 11th
Yes.
of May 11th on 2024 at 6:41 p.m.?
Yes.
And how were you, did you translate the language in the calls?
Yes. So normally I listen to a call, I will write a summary in English, and then we will send it to linguists to get it officially translated.
And did you send this call out to a linguist to get translated?
Yes, I did.
And did you review that transcript for accuracy?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let me show you this jump drive. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 243. I've already shown it to the defense. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What is contained on this jump drive?
That contains the call from May 11th, 2024 at 6:41 p.m.
Did you review the transcription in this case?
Yes, I did.
Is that also contained on this jump drive?
Yes, that is also on there.
And did you have a part in helping to create a demonstrative exhibit for the court?
Yes, I did.
Is that also contained on this jump drive?
Yes, it is.
And do you agree with the translation of the transcription of the language as done by the FBI linguist? Is that consistent with what your translation is?
Yes, I do.
And were you able to identify the speakers on
Yes,
the call?
I was.
And who were the parties to this particular call on May
The
11th?
parties on this specific call were Jose and Riley.
And did you initial this?
Yes, I did.
State will move State's Exhibit 243 into evidence at this time.
Judge, I'm going to renew my objection and add on to that objection. Apparently, especially as it relates to the demonstrative aid and the translation, that this wasn't even done by agent basis. It was done by agent. Now we've got one more level of people who are not going to be here to testify. And so I would add that on to the hearsay and the confrontation.
Agent Specialist Ramirez testified that she listened to the call herself. She reviewed the transcript of the transcript that was created by the FBI linguist, that she reviewed it for accuracy, that she agrees with the transcript, and we would be permitted to assist the court. We have created a demonstrative aid so that the court can, it's essentially what it is it is a rolling exhibit of the transcript.
Well, I hear you, but I also agree with Mr. Kirby that, I mean, we've now got another layer. I think those are his words. I'm not going to admit it as at this time this way. I mean, y'all can perhaps figure out something else. I don't know, but we've got the linguist. That's the first I've heard about that when you started talking about that. That actually did the translation, approved by this witness, and now we're here. So I am going to sustain the objection at this point.
The other option, Your Honor, Specialist Ramirez listened to the call. She's already testified that she's listened to the call, that she's translated it herself, and we would have her testify as to her translation of this particular call. Good sense of quiet. Which she's a certified, we've already established that she's a certified translator for the FBI. She listens to jail calls. She was able to authenticate the authenticity, identify the speakers, identify the method of recording the calls, and based on that, we would submit that she can testify as to what the call said.
You want to be heard further?
Judge, the only thing that I would add, I don't know if we're getting into expert testimony here, or if agent of basis is being offered for that. I think you need a court-certified interpreter to do that when you play the call. As it relates to agent of basis, it sounds like that went to someone who was a specialist in this, and I would probably that she is not qualified for that.
Well, I'll let you inquire further. You can whatever her on her qualifications if you want to, but what I've heard so far, they've at least put up a prima facie case that she is qualified. So I'll let you inquire about that. So here's where we stand right now. I'm not going to admit it as it's coming from the linguist to Ramirez to here. However, if I am going to consider it, if there's a foundation laid by this witness as to the translation. I don't think the certified court interpreter, as we know them here, is required in this situation, but I don't believe so.
And I apologize to Agent Ramirez, I'm saying agent basis, and that's
Okay.
not it.
So with that, do you want to void eye her on her qualifications, or? I'm just offering it.
No, well, just unless they're offering Agent Ramirez as an expert in this, in which case we didn't get any of the stuff that we should have gotten, because I don't know that she was originally thought to be offered as an expert. I think it would be more appropriate on cross-examination.
That's okay.
The defense keeps changing the standard. Specialist Ramirez has already testified that she's a native speaker of Spanish, that she has completed the FBI's certification program, which allows her to do work as a translator for the FBI, and that the translation of this particular jail call and all the other ones was done in the course of her duties as a specialist at the FBI.
Are you offering her as an expert?
I am offering her, I could offer her as an expert. I could ask the court to qualify her as an expert in this area, given her qualifications.
Has she testified in court proceedings before?
Actually, she has not. This would be her first time. But if not, she could still testify as the person who translated the call in the course of her duties as a native speaker of the language. And the law does not require. It's a better practice to use a certified court interpreter, but it's not what the law requires.
Want to be heard any further now? No? Okay. I'll let you go forward, and I'll leave it to you if you're asking for her to be allowed to testify as an expert or not.
Did you have an opportunity to listen to the translation?
Yes.
Listen to the jail call.
Yes, I have.
Approximately how many times did you listen to it?
I have probably listened to that jail call more than 10 times.
And did you make a translation of the jail call?
Yes. When I listen to a call, I normally type up a summary.
And did you type up, did you make notes in this particular case?
Yes, I did.
And in that jail call, who were the speakers on the jail call?
Jose and Laken.
And what was the context for their conversation?
In the conversation, they were continuing a conversation from a previous call, discussing how he had went to Eugene.
Do you want to be heard?
Yes, Your Honor, you've already stated that, or you've already overruled their objection to our admission of the content of the conversation, in that it's being offered for the admission of a party opponent and also as in context. This is about the same call on May 11th.
Did I misunderstand your objection?
Yes, Judge. I again, and I apologize for perhaps my confusion. I thought that this was related to the whether or not they were going to offer Agent Ramirez as an expert or not.
I just told her to proceed.
Okay.
So I'll overrule that objection as stated.
Going back to the call, you identified the parties
Yes.
and you were giving the court the context of the call.
Yes, so they were discussing how he had went to UGA to look for work. In the call, they also discussed, Leiling had asked him where,
To Leiling again. This is, if we're going, we can play the phone call, I guess, if we can authenticate this. But if we're just going to talk about what Leiling said, then it's hearsay, and she lives up in New York. This isn't a, my guess is that the FBI has the ability to get her.
So I've overruled the objection based on the reference and the playing of Ms. Franco's and the interpretation of Ms. Franco. So you can continue. It's overruled.
At this time, I'm going to play the call. And Specialist Ramirez, can you listen to the call and then give the court a summary of what the call says?
yes, I can.
Diga Estados Unidos. Después del tono, por favor, diga Estados Unidos. Gracias. Esta llamada no es privada. Será grabada y podría ser monitoreada. Si cree que debería ser una llamada privada, cuelgue y siga las instrucciones del centro para registrar este número como un número privado. Es posible que usted no oiga ningún sonido durante la aceptación de sus...
Okay, can you tell us what that was?
At the beginning of every call, there's usually an automated message letting the parties know that their calls are being recorded and that if this call should be private, they should hang up and follow the instructions provided by the jail on how to set up that number.
Llamada. Por favor, no cuelgue.
Whoops. Okay, there we go.
Hola, esta es una llamada con cargos y vestidos prepagada de... Un individuo encarcelado en Athens Clark County Jail. Esta llamada no es privada. Será grabada y podría ser monitoreada. Si cree que debería ser una llamada privada, cuelgue y siga las instrucciones del centro para registrar este número como un número privado. Para aceptar cargos y dar su consentimiento para grabar esta llamada, oprima 1. Para no aceptar gracias, pulsa.
Okay, what is that?
That is an automated voice saying that the person that he's calling is receiving a prepaid call from an inmate, and then usually they can say their name, they don't have to, and then the call will ring so the other person can pick it up.
Puede comenzar la conversación ahora.
Okay.
He asked her if she's able to hear him okay, and she said yes, that it sounds better. He asked her where were they in the conversation, and she says we were talking about him going to look for the job.
So what is the, I'll move on to the next. Okay.
He says that he went inside, he spoke with the girl, she starts yelling, saying that she's fed up.
Okay.
She's saying that she's fed up, that he has her tired, and if he can just tell the truth.
Okay.
She says, are you going to, or are you not going to say the truth? He tells her that he went over there to look for a job.
Okay. Okay.
She continues to ask him what happened with the girl.
nunca porque no me dejan verte así. No quería escuchar. Así. Me dijo que quería escuchar, no me dejan ir. Ya, mira, eso me dijo que donde yo puse los pies allá, ya, me tenía problemas.
Okay.
Baja.
She tells him, don't wait for me to come and see you because they will not let me see you. Immigration told me that if I step foot over there, I will be in trouble.
Okay.
Sí o no, que va a pasar.
Can I make an inquiry? Is Officer Ramirez reading off of something?
I am not. I'm only
Okay.
able to see the audio that she's playing.
I apologize.
Okay.
She continues asking that she wants to know what happened with the girl.
Okay.
No, no, no,
Okay.
She tells him that he has to know something, and he just continues to tell her, like, Layling, enough, Layling, enough.
Okay.
He just continues to say, okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
She asked him if he had smoked that day, and he said no.
I'm just asking, is there a noise in the background? Is that them talking or?
No, usually it can be background noise from a TV or just other inmates in the background.
Okay.
He asked her if she's writing, and she's like, writing what? And he's like, are you writing? And she said, no, I'm not writing, I'm just fed up.
Okay.
He said, you're fed up, okay, okay.
Oops. Okay, can you?
She said, oh my gosh, and then you cut off mid-sentence, so I can't.
Let me go back a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
He's telling her, yeah, you're fed up, and she's saying, yeah, I'm fed up, and it's your fault.
Okay.
She said that she thinks it's crazy that they don't have anyone else's DNA, they only have his. And she said she doesn't understand how someone can see someone dying and not call 911.
Okay.
He's saying, enough, Layling, that's why I'm telling you. And she's saying, no, 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 no.
Okay.
She's saying that you're not going to come here and lie to me. I know you. You know something. And he's like, okay, Liling.
Okay.
She asked him where was El Gocho when he was out, and he states that he's either in the house or in the bed. Due to the call being a little bit muffled, it's hard to understand which word he's using.
Okay. And I'll stop it right there. Nothing further of this witness.
No cross-examined.
No question, Judge.
She be excused.